All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're looking at something pretty mind-bending. It's not a map of a country or even a galaxy. We're exploring a proposed map of reality itself, a kind of cosmic blueprint that claims to stitch together the worlds of science and scripture. And the incredible thing is, according to this model, they were never separate to begin with.
So this really gets to the heart of what we're talking about today. I mean, are science and faith telling two completely different stories? Or are they just two different languages describing the exact same underlying reality? The model we're about to walk through makes a bold claim. It's the second one. One cosmic blueprint, just two different ways of reading it.
So, here's how we're going to break this all down. We'll start with the main idea, this concept of one reality with two readings. Then we'll build the model piece by piece. We'll start with its foundation, the 237 cosmic spine. Then we'll explore the two big loops that hang from it, wave and vibration. And finally, we'll get to the most exciting part, where they cross over, which, it turns out, is right where we live.
All right, first up, to bring these two readings of reality together, we need a new kind of framework. And the one we're digging into today is called the Dual-Caustic Universe, or the DCU for short.
Okay, the core idea here is really cool. Just try to picture this. Imagine reality is shaped like a Möbius strip. You know, that twisted ribbon that only has one side, but it's formed into the shape of an egg. So you have these two distinct, perfectly mirrored loops, but they're part of one single, continuous surface. And this is the really critical part. The sources we're looking at argue this isn't just some neat metaphor. They're saying this is a model for the actual operational physics of how the universe works.
You know, any good structure needs a foundation, right? A spine that holds it all together. Well, in the DCU model, that spine is actually a numerical code, 2-3-7. This is the foundational code for everything else we're going to see. This code is basically the universe's operating system. So the number 2, that's all about the fundamental duality of everything. You know, pairs like light and sound, or matter and antimatter. The number 3, that represents a cubic, stable order, a kind of pattern for tests and for knowledge. And 7, that signifies completion, the full cycle of creation, which you see echoed in concepts like the 7 heavens mentioned in the Quran. So picture this 2-3-7 spine as a central axis running right down the middle of our Möbius egg. It governs both of the loops we're about to explore. But here's the kicker. It acts like a perfect mirror. It gives both loops the same structure, but with completely opposite properties, like your reflection in a mirror. This creates this incredible, perfect symmetry throughout the cosmos.
Okay, let's climb up to that first loop and see how this all plays out. This is the upper loop, the realm of wave. And this realm is associated with sound, with divine command, and with the predictable clockwork world of what we call deterministic classical physics.
Inside this loop, reality unfolds in a kind of 3-6-9 rhythm. It kicks off at 3, which is this origin point, a fire source, a point of pure command. From there, it moves to 6, a point of oscillation and structure. Scripturally, this is linked to the precise ironworking of Dāwūd or David. And finally, it all lands at 9, a point of crystallization, where something is purified, represented by the story of Ibrāhīm being tested by fire but emerging unharmed.
And check this out. This is where it gets really mind-blowing. On the left, you have science describing this loop as plain old Newtonian physics, a clockwork universe where everything is predictable, timed by the sun and moon. On the right, you have scripture describing the very same mechanics, but through stories, true deeds separating faith from action, and sound itself acting as a divine command frequency. See? 2 languages, 1 single process.
All right, now for the mirror image. We're going to head down to the lower loop, the realm of vibration. This world is all about light, about mercy, and the fuzzy, probabilistic, uncertain nature of quantum physics. We see that same 3-6-9 pattern down here, but everything's flipped. The origin at 3 isn't a loud, clear command, it's a whisper source, a point of pure potential. The oscillation at 6 isn't about precise timing, it's about stabilization through light, anchored by the figure of Aḥmad. And the crystallization at 9 isn't about being purified by fire, it's about witnessing it, like Mūsā at the burning bush, which was a manifestation of divine light.
And once again, the two readings just click into place. Science calls this quantum physics, defined by particle-wave duality and a fundamental uncertainty about everything. Scripture, on the other hand, talks about a book of light and tells stories like the sleepers of the cave who experience a kind of suspended time, which is a lot like a quantum state. The Quranic idea of bird speech is even seen here as a kind of quantum information transfer.
So we've got these two big, distinct loops. One is deterministic and predictable, the other is quantum and uncertain. But here's the thing. They aren't floating in space completely separate from each other. They actually meet. And that meeting point? Well, that's the most important place in the entire model for us.
Yeah, this is where the model gets seriously powerful. The entire cosmic structure, that deterministic loop up top and the quantum loop down below, they don't just exist in parallel. They intersect and literally invert right through the middle, at a central line that acts as a buffer zone, the place that mediates between both realms.
And that buffer zone? That's us. That's our reality. In the model, it's the central line called Isa Earth Quran, also known as the Kingdom of Solomon. Now look at how it all connects. Up top, you have the endpoint of the upper loop, the Tree-Ibrāhīm, which is described as a Razim-purified fire, a state of absolute binary clarity. Down at the bottom, you have the endpoint of the lower loop, the Tree-Mūsā, described as Rahim witness light, a state of merciful potential. Our reality, right here in the center, is where the quantum bird speech from below and the deterministic iron timing from above can actually coexist and interact.
And so, here it is, the complete map we've been building this whole time. You can see the whole thing now. You've got the top loop of wave, now just follow it down through the center, and that's our Earth buffer, where it inverts, and boom, it becomes the mirrored lower loop of vibration. And both loops are held in perfect tension by that vertical 237 spine. This is the unified blueprint. So let's just recap the beautiful symmetry we've just laid out. The upper loop, the world of sound, is this triad of fire, the precise sound timing of Dāwūd, and the command-purified final state of Ibrāhīm. And its perfect mirror image, the lower loop of light, is a triad of whisper, the stabilizing light presence of Aḥmad, and the mercy witness state of Mūsā. It's two parallel processes perfectly balanced with opposite polarities. Just amazing.
Now, what about those arrows on the side of the diagram? They're all about the flow of information between these two worlds. The up arrow is like an idea solidifying into reality. It's what physicists call quantum measurement, when an uncertain, potential state collapses into one single definite thing. The down arrow is the opposite. It's a defined concept, like a revelation, descending from that determined, clear source into our world of possibility.
And that brings us to the final, powerful synthesis, the core thesis of this entire model. The argument is that these two great ways of understanding our universe are not at war. They're not even in different conversations. They are simply two different perspectives, two different languages, reading the exact same cosmic structure, a reality built on this foundation of duality, triads, and cycles of completion.
So this leaves us with one last, really big thought to chew on. If this map is even remotely accurate, if this cosmic cycle is real, then it forces us to ask ourselves, where are we, personally and as a whole civilization, on this continuous loop between wave and vibration, between command and mercy? And maybe more importantly, which direction are we headed?